It happens every day. Thousands of people walk by buildings such as these, thinking everything is normal. Or is it? Cotta Memorial, the Rubin Center, Old Main, the Recital Hall, the Goffin Auditorium, and the Dinner Theater are said to be haunted. That's right, haunted. UTEP is allegedly the home of several ghosts. But just what happens if you run into one of these ghosts? To find out, I turned to Spirits of the Border, The History and Mystery of El Paso del Norte, a book by Ken Hudnall. The book tells of students, professors, and staff that have reported their experiences to Hudnall, as well as local newspapers. People in Cotta Memorial have reported hearing footsteps in the hall when nobody was there, as well as shadows and silhouettes, and sounds similar to screaming.
Belief that it's possible that it was associated with a previous incident in the building. There was an accidental death. On the part of a worker there, because that used to be a stage area. And my understanding from the stories that have been told is that he got his foot caught in what we call a theater scene rope. They all have weights on them. He got pulled up and hung upside down for a long period of time.
The ghost in McGoffin Auditorium allegedly chases dancers in the basement, and another ghost in the Fox Fine Arts Recital Hall has been reported in the balcony watching the activities below. But perhaps the most haunted buildings on campus are the Stanley and Gerald Rubin Center and Old Main. The Rubin Center is allegedly the home of 3 ghosts, if not more. One is said to be a chemistry student who was killed during one of his experiments, and another the ghost of a janitor, and yet another ghost of a girl from the 1930s, murdered when her boyfriend found out she was pregnant. They say around 3 or 4 a.m., a car from the 1930s slowly pulls up to the building, and a girl in 1930s attire steps out and walks inside. I'm not sticking around here much longer. But what about Old Main, the oldest building on campus? In 2002, a team from the university newspaper spent the night to investigate. The team reported footsteps, opening and closing of doors upstairs, frantic rattling of the door downstairs, lights flicking on and off, and even a ghostly lecture caught on tape. Still, there are those that have good reason to remain skeptical.
So in this case, the couple that thinks that a ghost is haunting them in Old Main would not be considered credible evidence for a ghost, because for the criteria for a ghost is much higher than rattling doors. There's other explanations for rattling doors. In other words, it could have been someone else putting a prank on them and managing to hide afterwards by running, or it could have been the wind. It could have been their imagination. I mean, people hallucinate, people think they hear things. So, in other words, there's a lot of steps to go through before one declares that it was actually a ghost.
Are there such things as ghosts? Are there logical explanations to the haunts of UTEP? Of course, you could always get permission from the UTEP authorities to spend the night in one of these buildings and investigate yourself. But before you do, consider this. If supernatural events occur, anything could happen. If you choose to investigate, do so at your own risk. For the University of Texas at El Paso, this is Robert Town.